Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip Committee meeting. Today is May 10th, 2021, and we're going to call this meeting order at 7:32 p.m. Can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Juarez? Here. Trustee McLaughlin? Here. Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Navasparza? Here. Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Certainly, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight to join us celebrating a great evening when we have a change in the guard this evening with regard to our elected officials. I'd like to start off this meeting with introducing, first, as some of you might have saw on your agendas this evening, Cook County Clerk Karen Yarbaugh has acknowledged the results of the April 6, 2021 consolidated election, where the following people have successfully won their respective elected official positions to serve a 4-year term in office from 2021 through 2025. This evening, being administered the oath of office will be myself as village president, Renee Harding as our village clerk, Monica Juarez as village trustee, Catalina Navasparza as village trustee, and David Peretta as village trustee. I've invited this evening a good friend of mine. I've known Judge Coughlin for over 30 years. This evening we welcome Cook County Circuit Court Judge Matthew Coughlin to administer the oath of office to our newly elected officials. Judge Coughlin is a Marist High School and University of Illinois alumni, followed by working as a Chicago firefighter, and he was elected to the bench in 2000 after serving 13 years as a Cook County prosecutor. Matt was assigned to the criminal division at 26th in California in 2006, and we were just talking in the back, Matt, you've actually sworn me in twice, so thank you for being here for round 3, so thank you very much. So once as a trustee and once as a mayor. We had I believe the first time I was elected with Trustee Dalzell, we were elected in 2011. We had Justice David Sturba? Dave Sturba swore us in, and 2 years ago, Trustee Navasparza has a relationship with, friendship, I should say, with Justice Jesse Reyes. That was great for Justice Reyes to come out and do that with us then too. So thank you, Judge Coughlin, for being here this evening. You know what, I'm going to start just in order the way I just read those off to you. Michael, let me know. You said, is your family here?
I'm waiting on my grandmother.
No problem. Grandma's been a little behind, so it's just, we're going to wait a little bit and so forth then too. And again, I want to recognize, all your friends and families in the audience tonight. And thank you for everybody for being here tonight. I want to thank Pastor Dan Willis from Lighthouse Church of All Nations being here too. Pastor, thanks for being out here with us tonight too. Of course, Trustee Murphy addressed your church last Wednesday night. I didn't get a bad note or anything like that, so that's good. And I know we all know he's got a sense of humor, so hopefully your congregation took to that real well and everything too. Yeah. Okay. I've been on a boat with him. His jokes aren't that great and stuff yet too. So anyway, Judge Coughlin, I apologize. Could you come up to the mic, and what I'm going to ask everybody to do, we'll all take the other microphone that's remote here and do the oath of office. I've got him set up here on the front here.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here, Mayor Ryan and Clerk Harding, distinguished members of trustees. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be here on this joyous occasion. So, Judge Ryan, if you'd please raise your right hand. I, John D. Ryan.
I, John D. Ryan.
Having been elected to the office of Village President.
Having been elected to the office of Village President.
In and for the County of Cook and the State of Illinois.
In and for the County of Cook and the State of Illinois.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Village President to the best of my ability.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties to the best of my ability of the office of Village President
To the best of
To
my
the best of
ability.
my ability. Thank you. Hey, cue card. Thank you.
I couldn't have remembered that.
That's why we get to paste and stick all those memos and everything else. You can read all that stuff, you know?
Now I would invite
Clerk Harding is...
Clerk Harding would be next, yes.
Top it off a little bit, yeah.
smaller words.
Smaller.
I, Renee Harding,
I, Renee Harding,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of village clerk
to the office of village clerk
in and for the county of Cook
in and for the county of Cook
in the state of Illinois,
in the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of village clerk
the duties of the office of village clerk
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Next, I'd like to ask Catalina.
I'll try not to cry, okay?
It's a happy occasion. I, Catalina Nava Esparza,
I, Catalina Nava Esparza,
having been elected to the office of village trustee
having been elected to the office of village trustee
in and for the county of Cook
in and for the county of Cook
and the state of Illinois,
and the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of village trustee
the duties of the office of village trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, can I ask David Peretta to come up, please, David?
I, David Peretta,
I, David Peretta,
having been elected to the office of village trustee
have been elected to the office of village trustee
in and for the county of Cook
in and for the county of Cook
and the state of Illinois,
and the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of village trustee
the duties of the office of village trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Do you want to wait a little bit? Do you want to wait a few minutes? No, you're fine. Oh, no, don't worry about it. No, we're not in a hurry. We can pick it up again in a few minutes. No big deal. You sure? Yeah. No. Sorry, the grandmother. No, Matt, you weren't. We're fine.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, okay. No, your grandma's here now. Don't worry about it. We would take our time. We're not in a hurry. I'll tell you what. We're taking a minute. I was going to read a statement anyway. Let everybody get comfortable. So, yeah, exactly, Matt, which is, Judge, I'm sorry, we'll take just a moment. I'd like to let everybody get a seat, and I just wanted to read something as well then, too. First, I wish to express to the Village of Alsip's residents and businesses that I'm humbled and hopeful and certainly honored to have been reelected as only the 8th person since 1927 to serve as the village president. The voters have elected me twice as a trustee and twice as a mayor because they trust my judgment and know I'm working for them. During my first term in office, Alsip was fortunate to have 27 new businesses located in the village. Approximately $100 million of new construction meant expanding our tax base, where more businesses now share village expenses and keep taxes fair. It also means more support for schools and parks and the library. But ultimately, it means more jobs to support families. The strength in Alsip's leadership is in the appointed department heads who actively pursue ideas that make their departments more efficient while understanding the administration's need to spend within our means. 3 of our last 4 budgets were good, and last year we collectively reduced spending by over $2.4 million due to COVID-related reduction in anticipated revenues. Moving forward, we will certainly keep attracting new businesses, yet I feel we need to renew our commitment to 3 things: business retention, safety, and best practices. Our world is changing, and while budgets will dictate many decisions, we need to establish a grant program that assists our business community with assistance for instance, like facade improvements, code compliance, new signage, and retailer recruitment with matching funding. I feel we need to install more streetlights for neighborhoods lacking adequate lighting, which increases safety and deters crime. Then increase the need for additional sidewalks, as many neighborhoods still lack a common path to protect them from being injured walking in the street and provide safe passage for children and seniors. There's always a need for more street resurfacing, as that single accomplishment makes everyone look and feel better about the appearance of an inviting appeal in their neighborhoods. Tonight, the police chief will discuss the need of introducing the effectiveness of traffic cameras. I really like this idea. And while I'm planning to initiate and ask the board to approve the acquisition of a nearby facility that we can facilitate the need for Public Works and Water to relocate to, the current garage will then become a police department facility, as we can better protect our assets from possible terrorism and the elements outside yet too. We need to change how things are managed and what the benefits are of that change. I'm asking all the elected officials to renew what I consider a best practice and to have your committee meet with your designated department at least once per month for at least an hour outside of our regularly scheduled meetings every Monday night, so that this board can best understand everyone's needs and advocate for or against the recommendations from that department head. I look forward to continued progress with the village board, and I want to thank my wife Claudia, my son Nick for their support, as well as my assistant Becky Smith, all of the department heads for their hard work, and especially our legal team, the Kankar Law Office, who offer great advice while always demonstrating fairness to the Alsip taxpayers. Last, I wish to congratulate all of our newly elected officials. Clerk Renee Harding, good to have you aboard. David Peretta is our trustee. And certainly to the current village trustees who were re-elected, both Monica Juarez and Catalina Nava-Esparza. The voters have chosen who they believe will represent Alsip's interests best. So I'm really looking forward to some great results working with all of you. And certainly I look forward to making difficult decisions with all of you as well, and ask that you share your ideas with my office so that we can collaborate and determine how to accomplish different goals and needs for the next 4 years. And finally, thank you all, everyone again, for being with us this evening. And I want to wish, I'm on a FaceTime with somebody here, with my mom. She's not feeling well, and I hope a speedy recovery for my mom as well then too. And before we get done here, Dave, I got you a present too. Finance hooked me up with this right before the meeting. This is your budget, okay? You're going to like this, Dave. We actually use big paper, big numbers and everything, so it's real easy to read and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
too.
large fonts, please.
Almost $52 million worth of ideas here and stuff, Dave, you know, so if you have any questions, just ask. How's that, okay? That kind of thing.
The test is 9:30 tomorrow morning?
Exactly, you know? So, but no, really looking, I'm glad you're aboard, everybody, and certainly you get one too. Don't
Mine's
yeah,
right
I'm
there.
not just looking
Mine's
at
right
Dave. Yeah, you get one too. So, but again, thanks to everybody. Monica, if you want to come up now, and Judge Coughlin will give administer the oath of office to Trustee Juarez.
Thank you again, Mayor.
Sure.
For waiting.
Last but not least, I, Monica Juarez,
I, Monica Juarez,
having been elected to the office of village trustee
have you been elected to the office of village trustee
in and for the county of Cook
in and for the county of Cook
and the state of Illinois,
in the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Village Trustee
the duties of the office of Village Trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. So the best part about coming to a meeting like this is we're going to have a quick meeting. You guys can sit in on something here just to know what we're looking at. Very quickly, officers' reports, starting with mine. I just want to let everybody know I did attend the Plan Commission meeting last Wednesday, and the Plan Commission voted 7-0 in favor of a new logistics warehouse to be built at 3600 West 127th Street. This is basically, they're going to put up almost a 40,000 square foot warehouse with almost 36 overhead doors, and their biggest task, and we all know this yet too, there's no water on their property, so they're going to spend some money to bring water to it, but ultimately they said that this is going to be about a $5.7 million construction investment, and I know their property is close to 1.9 yet too, so we really appreciate their interest in our community to build at that site. That's a site that used to be a steel mill back in the day, and it's almost 8 acres of property that's almost like a triangle, so it's kind of difficult to build on, and it's right where we meet Blue Island at 127th Street yet too. Next week, we're going to have representatives here to answer any questions regarding their project as well then too. Also, I sent everyone an email maybe an hour or two ago for the redevelopment agreement for the Firewater Barbecue and Brew. Please go through that, trustees, and let me know if you agree with the language, and I'll have an ordinance drafted for approval with our village attorney. Again, this is for a development, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the board voted last week to approve a Firewater Barbecue and Brew to put up a 6,000 square foot strip center at 117th and Pulaski. Half of that, 3,600 square feet, is going to be a barbecue restaurant. This would be his 5th restaurant. Next to that will be a jewelry store from Naperville, and next to that will be Salerno's Italian Takeout. So this will be a good venture over there. And then finally, the Plan Commission denied a special use permit for Quick Trip, who was under contract to purchase the Condesa Del Mar property on 122nd Cicero, but he made a great presentation and still would like to address the board once it gets to us as far as any type of reconsideration by the board. So we'll see that in about a week or two as far as that's concerned. So, Roger, that's pretty much all we had from that, right?
That is correct. They're looking at coming out on the 24th.
Okay, on the 24th of this month they'll come out? Okay.
Correct.
And that's all I had for this evening. So I'll go to the clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a presentation of minutes of the committee meetings of the whole finance for February 8th, 2021, February 22nd, 2021, and March 8th, 2021. Also a presentation of minutes of the April 19th, 2021 board meeting, presentation of minutes of the April 26th, 2021 committee meeting, and the presentation of the May 3rd, 2021 board meeting. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. I hope they're all that easy every meeting, right? You know,
Right? That was a
tricky
breeze.
ones or anything, yeah. So, we have the public forum. Did anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight about anything? Okay. Could talk about cicadas or something like that. You know, I did that as a filler a few weeks ago, and nobody wants to let that one go. I always like having a report for everybody, and I was reaching, but it jumped up on my computer. We're due for a mountain of cicadas coming your way. You're going to have them in your hair and your car and everywhere else and stuff pretty soon. So, next we have the standing committee reports, finance and IT. Trustee McLaughlin.
First, I will have the list of payroll and accounts payable for approval next week. And next, I'm going to go a little out of order here. No, we'll go in order. We'll turn it over to Joyce for a discussion of the calendar year 19 sales tax collections versus calendar year 20 tax collections. Then she can go on to the fiscal year 20 police pension report and the fiscal year 20 fire pension report.
Thank you. Trustees, I put the information off of the State of Illinois' sales tax collection data. I've shown the mayor this before for FY20 or calendar year 20. They happen to have calendar year 19 out there also. I want you to look at that when you get the chance. I will point out quickly, as an example, automotive and filling stations between 19 and 20. In 19 it was 3.2 million, and in 20 it was 2.5. So this all goes towards the ARP program, where we can show that we lost revenue in order to claim our 2.3 million. By the way, the first tranches went out today to the largest communities. We are not in that. Anything under 50,000 in population, we have to wait another 30 days for the state of Illinois to distribute that to us. So the bigger guys got their money today. I have a auditor that called me and said, I want to frame this check.
Well, I looked at the list too, and and again, what Joyce is saying is, any communities with 50,000 residents or more obviously got more stimulus money than communities like ours that have 20,000 residents too. So there's a few communities around here that like Oak Lawn got a check, and I think they were good for about $5 million, something like that. Now, certainly Orland Park and a few others and stuff then too, but. Yeah, we're more in the 2.3 or 2.4 range. Yeah. Okay.
Theirs came directly from the Treasury. Ours is going to come from the state.
Right.
So
okay.
we have to wait for the state to get their distribution and then distribute to us.
Okay.
So. Okay, next, the police pension report. This is required by law for me to present this to you prior to the second Tuesday of May. And I'm just making it with a few hours to tick. So this is the actuarial report and funding recommendations from Lauterbach. It should be in your packet. I've marked some in. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we all know that it's not just wonderful. On page 4 of the police pension, the third set of numbers from the bottom, that is our unfunded actuarial accrued liability of $42 million. If you flip to page 6, in the 4th paragraph, it talks about how we're making greater contributions than is required by the state. And if you flip to page 7, one of the most important things is the 4th paragraph, which discusses the valuation, or the valuation of the assets. And if you flip to page 14, again, this is showing the market value of the assets that are currently in the police pension fund. And remember, this is through April of 2020. This is not current today. We don't have those valuations yet. Lauterbach hasn't done their work yet for this fiscal year. So as of April of 2020, the total market value of the pension fund was $23,758,635. And if you flip to page 20, this shows the actual outstanding unfunded liability, which is $67 million. And with our $23 million that's in the pension fund, that leaves us at 37% funded. And if you flip to the next page, which is page 21, it shows what the recommended contribution is in order for us to meet these obligations by 2040. So the plan is, I know those are big numbers, and we are going to meet that funding requirement that the state has for us. It's just going to take a few years for us to get there. So we have some things that we have to work on, and we are working on them, and we have a plan, which is the most important part. I know that was a lot in about 2 seconds. Does anybody have questions? And Mr. Trustee Dalzell, you're not allowed. If you have one, go right ahead.
We're good. Thank you.
And so Joyce, just for the public, if I'm reading the recommendation correctly, the actuaries are saying we need to apply roughly $3.8 million per year.
That is for this year. It will change every year. Our unfunded liabilities went from $58 million to $62 million in this last year. I'm sorry, $69 million. We went up almost $12 million based on the people that retire and their age.
And the interest rates.
And the interest rates. Because we're not going to make the money off of our investments like we were. So that all goes into it. So this is a fluctuating number. It will change every year. So that's what's recommended for this year is $3.7 million. And you'll see that reflected in our tax levy. Thank you for asking that question, Trustee McLaughlin.
Joyce, what are we funding right now? Are we funding 3.5 and the post-employment, and that?
Remember, we're
pardon me?
I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No. What are we funding right now? We're doing 3.5 million in the post, in that.
OPEB?
Yeah, in the OPEB right now.
That's different and separate
This is
from.
on top of that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This is
Okay.
the police pension fund.
Right.
OPEB is other post-employment benefits and refers to the health insurance for our other retirees besides fire and police.
Right. So it's still 3.5 there and another 3.8 here. Okay.
Correct.
In addition to fire and police.
Correct. So I'm going to move on to the fire pension. This is not a requirement by statute, but I'm going to present it right now in 2 minutes or less. So same setup here. So if you turn to page 4, it shows what our current investments are worth. The unfunded actuarial accrued liability is $26 million. And we're funded at 53% for the fire department. Again, you can look at page 6. It shows that we are contributing an additional $300,000 each year beyond what the state requires. And if you turn to page 19, this shows the actual accrued liability is $57 million. And our total market value for our assets is 29. So again, referencing that 53% funded. Our recommended contribution is $2.6 million and some change. Does anyone have any questions?
No, there's just a lot to swallow. That's all.
I know. And we can certainly come back to this if anyone does have questions. I'm certainly open to that. We're going to have some more information next year that will be in more detail with this. So just to let you know, this isn't the way I will present it next year.
No, understood. It's just a different evening.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you, Joyce.
Things were running behind this last year because of COVID, so we didn't actually get the actuarial reports until November. So hopefully we'll get them before that, and I can do this presentation again in a couple of months so we can have it more current.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee McLaurin, anything else?
That's all I have under finance, Mayor.
Okay. Then we have the Fire Committee report. Trustee Murphy?
We have a discussion tonight of the bids of the proposed mini squad, and I turn it over to Chief Szynski.
Hello, everybody. As you know, a couple weeks ago we opened bids, sealed bids for the mini squad, the proposed mini squad. We received one bid, or 3 bids. One was $260,000, one was $218,000, and one was $190,000. Myself and Deputy Chief Ricker, we went through the bids the following week, and I sent the Fire Committee the lowest bid, what was missing off of it, which is pretty substantial, especially a lot of it was since there was no exceptions. So based on the bids that we're turning and based on our specification, we're recommending the middle bid of $218,000 for the mini squad.
218?
218, correct. And we budgeted 260 for it this year,
Okay.
based on what we originally thought it was going to be. Like I said, the biggest reason is because of the amount of what was missing off the spec, which affects the chassis of the vehicle, which is probably a good chunk of the money. Also, the lowest bidder does not have a service center within 35 miles. They have a mobile technician, and if it has to go to a shop, it has to go all the way to St. Louis right now. So those were the biggest reasons.
So folks, for a lot of you that don't understand what the chief is saying, what we're going to do this year is, as opposed to what you see is common in many communities, when the ambulance goes out to a call, or even fires, but we're sending a big fire truck with it all the time. In this case, we're going to invest in a mini squad. We're going to go to a Ford F-550 four-door pickup truck, basically one of the heaviest pickup trucks they make, and with utility boxes all the way around. It does carry water with it, but we are anticipating less maintenance on something like that, which I tell you, the maintenance on those big trucks will just kill you. I'm signing checks for these things every 2 weeks, and the maintenance on the big trucks really is bad, and we're hoping for more efficiency and obviously a reduced cost on maintenance by going to these mini squads. I've got a few friends that are firemen in other communities, and they're utilizing this type of equipment now, and they said it's the best. And you're right, it does save us money on that. Chief, what was the lowest bid, though? If you want to go with the 216 bid, what was the lowest?
$190,000 was the lowest bid.
190. So we're talking about
our spec.
$17,000 chassis difference, is what you're saying?
A lot of it is the chassis. I'm sure part of it is construction, but there's a good chunk of it from the chassis. We can't price out the chassis. Depends on who they use. The Lowe's dealer used a dealer out in South Dakota because that's where they're closest to located.
And they don't have a service center that you had in the spec within 35 miles of here? Okay.
Correct. So two big things with that. The object also with the mini squad is to extend our service life on our current fleet of vehicles.
Right.
Any
Trustee
questions?
Murphy?
That's all I have, sir.
Yeah, Trustee Murphy, any questions from anybody for the chief while we have him here? Come on, Trustee Peretta, you can dig right in and stuff.
I'm still navigating on my laptop here.
It's not a TV, Dave, you know.
And then I'll put it on for meeting next week to approve it so we can get that order. That's about 8 months out right now to build. And what we found is the reason why the ambulance and everything's so long is waiting on chassis. Chassis are about 4 to 5 months out right now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chief. Anything else, Trustee Murphy?
That's all, sir.
Okay. Then we'll have the Police and Traffic Safety Report. Trustee Dalzell?
There's some discussion and some updates of the police department, and I'll have the chief address those issues.
I just want to give an update as to what's going on in PD, especially seeing as though the weather, well, hopefully will start getting warmer. We started our foot patrols this month. Bike patrols will begin mid-May, weather permitting. We recently had a staff meeting outlining our top 3 priorities this summer, and it's 1 is residential traffic, 2 is residential traffic, and 3 is residential traffic. We started our overtime traffic details, especially with the construction at 115th and Cicero. We've had a lot of people cutting through Hazel Green and Creekside. I got a letter not too long ago from a small business owner I'd like to read into the record. It's to myself and to the fire chief. I wanted to thank the officers and ambulance who responded to a call for help with our son who has mental issues. This event occurred on Saturday, 2/27/21, about 2 p.m. They entered our business in Alsip and calmly talked to our son. There were 2 men and 1 woman. All were excellent. We really appreciate their calm service. One of the officers had a crisis intervention team badge, which was helpful. I'm sorry I cannot recall names. My husband and I are very appreciative of their efforts. The crisis intervention team, those are officers who go through 40 hours of training on dealing with people who are mentally unstable. So they receive specialized training on how to calm those people down and talk to them in a manner to get them to cooperate. So we left the names out of this for obvious reasons, but the officers I was able to track down was Officer Heather Fain, who was in training at that time, Officer Justin Riley, who was her field training officer, and Mike Jensen was the CIT trained officer on the scene. So,
Thank you, Chief.
we got a plaque from Lexipol. We got the gold standard this year. For those of you who don't know what Lexipol is our policy and procedure manual. Lexipol has staff attorneys that continually monitor current Illinois legal issues and cases, as well as U.S. Supreme Court cases. They then recommend policies to agencies. The purpose of this is to make sure that we are operating within the best standards set by the court, thereby reducing liability. It is up to the agency to issue or update the policy for implementation, issue a training bulletin, have the officer acknowledge the policy, and then test on the policy. Each year, they award departments with plaques based upon their level of completing the aforementioned categories. I'm very proud that our agency this year was awarded the gold standard from Lexipol for 2020. Now I'll just pass that around. And the last thing I had, we talked about it briefly at budget time, but the time has come. So trying to catch up with technology. Every day, as you're aware in the news, there's a lot of policing's changing very rapidly. It's becoming more reactive in nature instead of proactive. Therefore, technology is going to become a key component moving forward to capture evidence so that offenders can be apprehended and brought to justice. So with that, I just wanted a very brief consensus if the board was on board with us moving forward with license plate readers as well as pod cameras throughout the village. It'll be in stages very gradually, but we did budget for 3, I believe, this year, 3 setups this year. The average cost was about $8,500 a setup. And the finance director is on board with this. We are planning on allocating funds towards this project as long as everyone's on board with it.
What are pod cameras?
They're basically those dome cameras that you see, and they have multiple cameras in them.
And where would they be located?
Well, we're going to start with Pulaski Corridor and work our way westward. We're only going to probably be able to purchase 2 or 3 a year, 2 or 3 setups a year.
Per year?
Chief, is that in the fiscal year 21 or the 22 budget?
It was 22.
It is for the new budget coming up. Okay.
So we're set on that. These are great. These things would be great too in our industrial areas too. You know, down the road once we get our main routes figured out and set up, then we can kind of move over that way too.
I would agree. You know, much of this, it's interesting. I learned so much while we had the civil unrest last summer, and many times, while we certainly focus on our commercial district, we learned that you never take for granted that your industrial section's fine, because that's where trouble can start as a decoy in many cases, and you need just as much protection there as you do in the main streets.
Correct.
Mayor, may I add something?
Sure.
This is a whole system that we're looking at that includes not only the pod cameras, but also other cameras, and I don't remember the names of them.
The license plate reader cameras?
Not beyond those. So that, with Public Works.
Oh, those are part of the pod cameras.
It is part of, okay, so this will also work in conjunction with Public Works so that they can look at road conditions also during the wintertime.
Okay. Trustees, any questions? Dave, I'm not going to single you out again. I just say, new guy, he can do that and stuff. So, I don't know.
Putting pressure on me, Mayor.
That's right. You're probably making notes over there. I didn't see. That's all. So.
I was making a little.
All right. So, can I ask the clerk then to conduct a consensus for the chief, please? You can just pull the board to ask if it's all right for him to pursue the need for pod cameras, right?
Okay, we'll take roll call number 1 for a consensus for Chief Miller to move forward with the pod cameras and the license plate readers, correct? Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Nava Esparza.
Yes.
Trustee Pareto.
Yes.
And then I don't know what.
So, in other words, we'll give, the consensus was given for the police chief to move forward with the action he asked for.
Okay, consensus is given for Police Chief Miller to move forward with the action for pod cameras and license plate readers.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you, Chief. Great report, too. And just for the rest of the board as well, I shared with the chief a couple weeks ago maybe, but right at the end of when we were doing our canvassing during the campaign, I ran into a resident as well who complimented our police department for their efforts to, again, assist a family in need of somebody that had like a substance issue that, again, the training's wonderful, and she thought the world of your officers for helping her out with that situation, too. So, next, we had the, should know this thing, too. Public Work and Boat Launch, Trustee Juarez.
I have a presentation of the Public Works April 2021 monthly activity report. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. And then the Sewer and Water Report, Trustee Nava-Esparza.
Thank you. I have a presentation of the Water and Sewer April 2021 monthly activity report. And I also have discussion regarding the proposed water rate ordinance, which includes the following: a 1.1% increase for all rate categories except exported sales, which will increase 4.8%, a senior citizen discount rate, and also a commercial industrial reduced minimum charges. I'm not sure if anyone is opposed to any of these items being included in the proposed ordinance.
No objections here?
None here.
So did we want to have legal draft? Here's the question is while we need to keep up with the increased cost from Chicago for the water, did we want to include in this ordinance a senior discount for people 62 and over?
It's listed in the ordinance as proposed, Mayor.
It's included.
I'm sorry. I was going off what I was looking at my agenda. And we're going to include the commercial change as well then, too? Okay.
And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Next, we had the Building and Health Report. Would it be all right with everyone if Trustee Peretta assumed that responsibility this evening?
Go for it, Dave.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Looks like I have a presentation of the Building Department April 2021 monthly activity report. Number 2, presentation of the Building Department Fiscal Year 21 Annual Activity Report. Number 3, request for approval to allow the Village Sportsman's Club located at 5201 West 115th Street to have their 8th annual pig roast pending approval from the police and fire departments. This fundraising event will take place Saturday, June 5th, 2021 from 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. with live music from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. All COVID guidelines set forth by the Illinois Department of Public Health will be enforced. Number 4, presentation of the Health Department April 2021 monthly activity report. And looks like that's all I have, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Human Resource and Insurance, Trustee Murphy.
No report tonight, Mayor.
All right. Then we'll move to the Special Committee Reports, Economic Development, Trustee Nava-Esparza.
Thank you, Mayor. In a previous board meeting, I brought up for discussion the creation of a Community Development Director position, and since we have a new board member, Trustee Prada, I will forward the information that I shared with other trustees so that we can have further discussion about the proposed position and hopefully a vote as well. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Village Properties, Trustee McGlohan.
Under Village Properties, I don't actually have anything on the agenda, but I wanted to bring it up that we did recently receive a complaint from one of the Heritage residents in regards to the rent increase that was implemented actually back in 2019. At the time we implemented that increase, we had information from the finance director talking about the outstanding bond balances at Heritage 1 of $878,000 and $4 million at Heritage 2. It also presented that in 7 of the 8 previous audited financial statements, one or both complexes had been operating at a deficit. So those were some of the driving factors as to why we removed the freeze that had previously been in place. Also at the time, the finance director had actually recommended that we index the increases. So after the $10 per year, that it would actually go up incrementally on top of that based on basic cost of living index. So $10 would potentially become $12 and $14 and so on. And we decided to go against the indexing and just went with a flat $10 per month per year. And I'm just in light of the complaint from the resident, and this is, I have to point out, this was just a single resident bringing this up, but did we potentially want to revisit it? Does anybody feel strongly about?
I think we should revisit it. Having a lot of our elderly are on fixed incomes, and it's very hard for them to afford to live there as it is. I was out talking to a few of the residents, and some of their children help them pay their rent because they can't afford it. They live on Social Security, they live on disability. $12, and it may not be enough for us, but it's a lot for them. Then to go up to 14 to 16 to 16, they can't afford it. You know,
well, it's just that we did not index it.
Right.
So when but the
we're not,
$10 a month, it's going to go to $10.
No, it would stay at 10.
For
Did we want to revisit the 10?
whenever they renew the lease.
So if they stay another year, that goes up another 20, and then another year, another
just
10.
10 just, right.
I know, but then it adds up, though, every year that it goes up for them, that they stay.
But in total, it is in the vicinity of 1%, which is actually far less than cost of living increases. And over that same time period, again, based on information that was provided by the finance director, the garbage rates went up a total of 59%, and our water rates from the city of Chicago have gone up 77%. And we do not bill the residents directly for either the garbage or the water. That is just absorbed as part of their rent.
So when their rent goes up, does their Social Security go up? Does their checks go up?
Yes.
It goes up too?
Mm-hmm. And actually, their checks would be going up at a higher rate than what we currently have on here.
So again, to fill in the gaps for some of you folks that don't know, the village owns 255 and older apartment complexes. We've got over 515 apartments. And back in 2012, when I was a trustee at the time, but we actually froze those rents back in 2012 for almost 8 years. Prior to that, those rents were going up $5 per month per year, and we froze them for 8 years. So as Trustee McLaughlin said, and starting in 2020, those rents now were increased by $10 per month per year. So hypothetically, if you were paying $900 a month last year, this year you're paying $910. Next year it'll be $920. That kind of thing. So.
But it was froze for 8 years. They didn't get an increase for 8 years?
For 8 years, there was no increase, right. And we still accomplished quite a bit over there yet, too. But again, even that rent increase, when you think about it, too, it was broken down for us. Even with 512 apartments being occupied, with that $10 increase, you're only bringing in like an additional $61,000 a year. And many of the projects, like we need a pool replaced right now, $470,000 for a new built-in pool, that kind of thing. So, I mean, we have to like chip away and keep saving up for future projects, replacing balconies, you name it, that kind of thing yet too. So the property's in wonderful condition, and again, it's in an enterprise zone. We don't profit from any of that, and none of that money comes to the village. It stays within those complexes yet too. So.
Yeah, and to your point, Mayor, I just want to bring up some of the projects. They're actually on the list for the next fiscal year and a half or so. The pool replacement at Heritage 1 is budgeted at $450,000. We need to install new patio doors at Heritage 1 at a cost of $450,000. There's electrical work that needs to be done at Heritage 1. That is estimated at $130,000. We're also talking about the fence which desperately needs to replace. That all by itself is going to cost in excess of $100,000.
Outside fence around the building?
The wrought iron fences fall down,
around the
right.
property. And I say, and those are just the improvements that we need to fund at Heritage 1. And I say, we have at Heritage 2, and I say with the window replacement all by itself at Heritage 2 is going to be $1.2 million.
All right. So such, again, this supports what I was speaking to then, too, so. All right, thank you. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. We'll go to ordinance and legislation. Trustee Peretta?
No report, Mayor.
All right. Planning and zoning and licenses. Trustee Juarez?
I have a presentation of the list of licenses dated April 27th, 2021 through May 7th, 2021. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Trustee Nava-Esparza, you had something under petitions and communication?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have a motion to have the attorney review the proposed social media use policy. The social media use policy was presented for discussion at the April 26, 2021 Village Board Committee meeting, and I wasn't sure if anyone had any edits that they wanted to be integrated into the document, and if we can have the attorney review so that we can move forward with the process.
So you put that on the agenda for next week?
I'm just asking if we can have the attorney review it before we put it on for the agenda for a vote, or do we need to vote on it? I just need clarity. If it's not an ordinance, it's just a social media use policy.
It's actually just a resolution is all that is, right? But actually, it may become an ordinance, so I'll confer with legal tomorrow on that, and I'll get back to you then, too.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have any presentations, petitions, or communications? Anyone have any unfinished business? Any new business? Then can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for attending our first meeting with this new board. We'll adjourn this meeting then at 8:20.